Daytime. It was daytime when I was involuntarily Baker acted. Um, Officer reports read that a neighbor stopped her, which was my neighbor, and made a comment that I was mentally unstable. And the officer lied and stated that she did an evaluation of me, and she basically took me to Jerome Golden, um, the same place I originally went to. Um, when I entered into what appeared to be Jerome Golden, um, I was met by a old co-worker that I was working with at a hospital doing security. She turned around and she told me I was her supervisor. She didn't like me much because I made her work. I would make her do her job. Um, in the time that I was there, I increased the security checks um, by getting a printout, letting them know these are the locations in which you need to be checking. They need to be checked consistently. This is what you need to be doing. Um, and this needs to be done. We will not be sitting at the same spot at the same time. They only require two security checks. I required way more than that. In my 8 hours, sometimes we would squeeze in sometimes four security checks each when they only required two. So she was not very accepting of me, I will say. And I went through a lot. So when I walk in, I see this young woman. She tells me, um, strip and take off all your clothes. I said, I'm not taking off all my clothes. What's wrong with you? So she turns around. She calls two individuals to force me to strip. I say, okay, no problem. Took off my clothes, put on the gown in which they told me to put on, and then they forcefully injected me with medication. I sat there in that section and went completely unconscious from the medication and the drugs that they forced on me. Um, After that, um, I woke up at a different one of their different locations. I don't know how they transported me unconscious. I don't know how they injected me. I can't tell you the DCF worker and the CPIs that said they came to see me. I can't tell you I was unconscious and they were lying. My body had been there unconscious um, with them constantly injecting me. I don't know what all they were doing for approximately, they said they had me in their care for about 2 months. During that time, um, I was being drugged. I wasn't conscious. I only remember being awoken for like a week. And even with that week, I can't even tell you a timeline because they kept injecting me with that same drug to knock me unconscious. So it may have been longer than that, um, where they had my body for an extensive period of time. against my will. But states do not want to do a registry for hospitals, for mental health institutions. They have them for prisons, but they don't have them for hospitals and mental health institutions. No registration, no paperwork, no nothing. They can have patients hidden in these mental health hospitals for years, decades, and not be tracked or discovered, doing all kinds of experimentations and doing all this craziness to these people with no track of this, no documentation of this, no nothing. So to the predator, this is the perfect place to take their victims and take advantage of them. The mental health hospitals. What happened, it started becoming an epidemic in my community. I started alerting detectives and local law enforcement, and this is the sad part. I'm notifying local law enforcement that this is taking place, but at the same time, local law enforcement is involved in taking these people to these places. So I'm reporting to the people that's doing the crime. I'm reporting to the people that are doing the injustice, saying, "Hey, you got some rogue officers. I'm not sure if you're in on this, but this is taking place." I'm reporting to my old job as well, telling them, "Hey, this is going on with your officers. This is your officers are under complete attack. Um, GEO, your officers are being harassed, being told that there are whores. Um, your officers are going through this." And I remember they had a slogan for the officers, called them GEO hoes. That's the wordage for it. And you would never think about it that way or whatever, but I'm reporting all this stuff. I'm reporting certain things taking place with me. I can't tell you how many times I had to write police reports, incident reports, of things that have happened to me in here. And I stopped even calling law enforcement. I can't even have law enforcement come to my home. I just have to write a report. And if push comes to shove and I met with a attacker or whatever, and it's visual to me, I have to pretty much protect myself and just write a police report after, because of how bad it is here in the community, and not knowing who you can trust and what you can trust. And I always say the good officers, they're sometimes thrown in bad communities. I remember working where I was working, and I get a lot of compliments. "Man, this is a good officer, man. She's great." I never really had an issue. On the days when I worked, there was never an issue in my dorm. But at the same time, when I'm not at work, all I hear is about the trouble and how many people this went on and that went on and stuff like that. And it's a scary thing, because a lot of times in law enforcement, you're not part of the problem, but you're not, you are the solution. But at this time, how are you going to solve a problem you don't even know exists? So when the attacks start, you get attacked right along with them. You get caught up in whatever attacks that's happening to them, it happens to you too. And this is like the confusion part, because you're like, "Hey, I'm the good guy. I didn't do anything wrong, but the bad guy did. And right now you're on their team.